Everybody, that was crazy. You have to stay tuned. So, Energy Diagnostics Podcast, Dan Zavadil, Joy Adler, we're back. It's been a minute. And we just had Douniazed on here. Like I said at the top, sound healer isn't the right description for her. I don't know what that was, but so stay tuned. So she did such just a blessed sound healing. We're going to put just the first quarter of it in this episode because it is a good length. So you'll get a taste of it. And if you're like, cool, I'm in, we're going to have the link. You'll be able to go to the full video when you're not driving or having to do other things, operating heavy machinery. You'll be able to go chill out, do that experiential. It is well worth it, but we'll give you a taste of that within this episode.
There is a lot of sound healing research. Sound does heal. Yeah. What can't it heal is the question. And we're going to discover more. And we're going to encourage you to participate for whatever it is that you would like to heal, even if it's just bringing your cells to optimal health. Stay tuned on Energy Diagnostics Podcast. Energy Diagnostics Podcast. Welcome back.
We're back. It's cooled down. It was unseasonably hot the last little bit here in upstate New York, but we're back to normal temps, so that's good. But the show is hot today. It's so good. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be fantastic. We have a wonderful. I don't like sound healer is not a big enough encompassing term for our guest today. We have Douniazed with us. And I'm just going to read you a little bit right at the top here. Douniazed is an integrative somatic energy and vibrational voice healing practitioner trained in Brennan Healing Science. Integrative somatic trauma therapy, Somatic Experiencing Advanced Level, and currently studying Neuroaffective Touch. Her work is rooted in holistic weaving of the human experience where the body, energy, and consciousness are deeply interconnected. As an artist, mother, and practitioner of mixed cultural heritage, she brings depth, sensitivity, and creativity to her work, supporting the being body's innate capacity to heal and to return to aliveness and coherence. And who doesn't need more of that? I want to see a show of hands out there.
Can my feet go up too?
No kidding. So when I said sound healer, you're like, yeah, that's so much more. But sound, of course, with you and I, music and all things auditory.
Healing, Dan, and we have someone who has the proof of that. We're so blessed and honored to have you here. And you have such a unique name. We learned a little bit about that, but we'd love for you to share that with the viewers. Douniazed, what does that mean? And where does it come from?
It's a pleasure being here with both of you to play a little bit today and chat. So the name is an old Persian name from the legends of Thousand and One Night. She's Scheherazad's sister, actually, in the stories. And it means the birth of the universe. I am not Persian. I'm from Morocco originally. Yeah, but my grandmother loved stories and legends, and there's so much healing in stories. So
do you find that comes out in some of your teachings with people? That is it a natural ability ancestrally?
it feels like it. Yeah, it does. It feels like it just, comes naturally from like ancestrals. Yeah.
Now, you did something pretty groundbreaking. You use sound as an experience and researched it, got feedback from participants in sound. Would you call them sound healing events? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So there are sound vibrational healing events. I call them the healing voice, where we were using our own sounds. And the research was based on multiple groups of no more than 10 people from different backgrounds and ages who met at least 5 times once a week for 5 weeks. And we collected the data from there, from before and after, and how that affected their presence.
My gosh. Well, and you brought something special to share with our audience about your findings and what it is that you do. And we all know that we can put a favorite song on, right, Dan? And suddenly just be moved. Perhaps it releases those feel good chemicals, some dopamine starts to flood our system. And, you did something so important, which is research is everything. Research is everything. Like we know these things, but how do we define it? How is it measured? And to have the interview of people's experiences, is, I can imagine it was very rewarding and rich. Did you discover something that you didn't know?
It's interesting. The first reason why I did the research is I wanted something that's really palpable. That could be seen and really experienced, not like just thoughts or reasoning. And it was important for me to know, is it just some people that experience this, or is it the majority of the people? How do other people experience it? And what I did learn is that no matter where the participants came from, with sounding and allowing that free toning to kind of emerge, one of them is that the majority had that little bit of a hesitance about sounding that they were not aware of. And then the second one is that all of them dropped like pretty drastically within the hour into this resonant field that felt expensive, but yeah, embodied. And this harmony, they like describe it as this like harmony that they felt within them.
You know what I loved about what you shared too is, if you can make sound, I mean, everyone's a sound healer. And where we might stop ourselves and the fact that they could track that in real time and give voice to that, pardon the pun, is extraordinary. And I'm sure so helpful for them when they catch themselves, stopping what they want to organically bring forth thereafter would be really amazing. So sounds like we're going into some really juicy information, and you brought us a magnificent set of slides to share with our viewers and listeners. And I have to read this because it was such a blowaway. Dan, I love this statement. Your liberated sound, the frequency of your original resonance to claim. I'll have what she's offering here. your your liberated sound, the frequency of your original resonance to claim. So here you just shared that. And we also see this in some of your materials as a standout statement of your work. Truly, that's what you're transmitting and bringing forth. So thank you. And what we'd love to do, Dan, if you wanted to share anything that came washed over you before we go into the slides.
Excuse me. Sorry, something got caught in my throat. I wonder what that could be and why.
Voice is
Voice.
coming up.
I know. It is funny how you mentioned how people would be reticent to tone or voice, and I notice that even sometimes when I go to a yoga class and we start with an om, or in when we teach right at Kripalu, right, Joy, and you get some people have this small voice and om. It's like, no, let it go. And it is great, and when you do it, you feel the vibrations. And I used to sort of, as my own experiment, we used to have a shop in town where they had float tanks, right? The sensory deprivation tanks. Unfortunately, they're not there anymore. But I would go down there and just in the tank and in the quiet and everything, and I would. It's great because in the tank there's no outside noise, so you could tone so quietly. And you could feel, like get it to get your toes to vibrate different I would do these experiments to feel, oh, can I feel it down here? Can I move it? What happens if I do this? And it would seem like the water was like everything would just become this coherence and this harmony, and then the overtones, and it would just. I was imagining everybody could hear it, but of course not. But it just felt so. It felt so big in that enclosed space, but it sounded similar to what you were talking about there, where you create this harmony within yourself.
Yeah, completely. And then like just that experience, right? Like in addition, you're on the water,
Right.
right? And the water resonates sound like beautifully.
Right. You have
So
that coming up. Right.
yeah. So
Teach
of
us
course
about that.
everybody was hearing it.
And here we are. These are gorgeous slides, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so the Healing Voice is not only workshops that I facilitate, but it's actually started with my own experience and research that was done. And in regards to what is the power of toning and its effect on vibrational harmony, our own. And also as it relates to like our own coherence, our coherence in community, and the liberation of these parts of us that somehow have been, put aside consciously or unconsciously. So during the workshops and also just during the research in general, there was this introduction of freeform toning. And really, toning, what is toning? It's not necessarily this rigid thing that you have to follow each chakra with each sound, which there is that possibility, right? But what I'm working with is this organic ability that we have to just allow sounds. So it's a creation of self-created sounds and allowing that resonance into the physical body, the emotional, the mental, and also the feel. And this is not about performance, it's not about judgment, it's not about agenda. If anything, the important piece here is to kind of let go of all of that and an invitation of an intention. And this is a general intention of really, I just want to be able to be here and feel this in this moment, or an intention for like peace or calm, or maybe like pleasure, like inviting pleasure in life or connecting to others in a more authentic, resonant way. So, generally, like toning in any kind of sound that we make, there is a spectrum and it comes naturally to us, right? It can go from this beautiful pleasure of like eating like a nice ice cream, or for me, it's like cheese and prosciutto. And it's like, it's like these sounds that we make, and we can hear more of these sounds actually in like Mediterranean cultures. And there's like, oh, that was so good. They're like, oh, that was so good. And then you also have the frustration that's built up inside to a point where it's like so much overwhelmed that you internally feel like you just want to kind of grab into that sound and want to scream. So your jaw tightens up, your throat tightens up. And really what you want to say is like, ah, or like, ah. So all of these are sounds that we make every day. And then
Want to.
or want to. Yeah, we want to.
How much sound do we stuff down in, up, over? Also allowing sound, that's a lovely way to, it's like an invitation.
Yeah, it is an invitation. The beauty about this is that even if we don't remember anything from today, just allowing this permission and the awareness as we make any sound, either if we are in the car or taking a shower or in the kitchen. And these are really the important pieces, that permission and that awareness in the body and outside of the body. And I'll bring this up a couple of times because this is very important. So it's just kind of a natural pathway that we can use, and it's available to us. It's really free. We don't have to be trained in it. We don't have to really take classes in it unless we want to. And as I was talking about, right, that permission, that allowing of the sound to emerge without judgment, allowing the breath to come back wherever that looks like. It doesn't have to be perfect. And from that constriction or holding, or even the awareness of it, right? Because a lot of times we're not, to that flow.
Ooh, some of our favorite. You were just speaking of water.
So we all know the water is a strong conducer for sound. Like we probably have done this in school somehow at some point when we're dealing with like electricity or like electromagnetics. And then we are 60 to 75% water as beings in our cells, in our bodies. And we're also a lot of space inside of us. Might not seem like it, but we are on a subatomical level. So the sound through this way, when we resonate inside, what happens is almost like that ripple effect, and it kind of goes to the cells. Now imagine if when we add like awareness to it, like really presence to where that sound is going or where is it felt, like how that vibration gets even more and extends even more. And then if we drop in an intention, that communication through the water, through the cells, assists in like this whole beautiful organic like reorganization of these cells that might have forgotten who they are, they might have forgotten how to work with other cells. And sometimes like that's what happens. Like this part of maybe the pancreas not working as well with the other parts of the body, with other organs of the body. And through sounding, there is a little bit of this reorganization and coherence that happens with these different parts of us. It is one.
Sorry to interrupt you. You have some points on the right side. I was thinking about what you just said about organs. Oh, wow, we could get someone's presenting complaint. Maybe that helps us to know where they need the balance of sound or something. You say sound and vibration can affect matter and change form. These are great bullet points here. Does that mean that sound can heal people from physical maladies?
Completely. Yeah, definitely. Because it works on the structure of the cells and also in the intention of the cells. When we are in utero, right? Like each cell has a certain task to do. And then so when there is disease later on, and coming from somebody myself who's gone through chronic pain, I know that this change of dissonance into resonance and harmony allows for that healing to happen on actually physical level. And there's a lot of research that shows that sounding allows for like help bone growth after accidents or placement of bones in certain areas of the body, tissue regeneration. Yeah.
That last point there, it awakens the original memory of your cells and the being body. Tell us more about that.
A lot of times when we go through transitions, when we go through hard times, when our system is overwhelmed, when we have chronic disease, there is a part of us that kind of forgotten who we are. Like this being body is not just a physical body, is the true resonance of who we are. In like Brennan, we would say our core essence, right? Like untouched by the future, untouched by the past, is that part of it that's really is always there. And then through the sounding, once we get to like, I usually start with like a guidance and then we go organically to allow that flow. There's almost like an inner memory that comes back through that, almost like this vibrational like music or song of the soul or song of the being body of the universe that comes through. And that we start remembering who we are, not cognitively, but there's this ease and breath and almost like if we were held in the arms of the universe in a way.
About the meaning of your name, the birth of the universe. And by the way, Dan, is this the best prescription we've ever seen? Hum, chant, tone, dance.
I mean, dancing, of course, is my favorite. I see its purpose. I'm working on it. But this was interesting. It got me thinking too, is as far as us as humans evolving, like language was something that was created. So if we didn't come hardwired with language, we had this voice box and all of this structure. If it wasn't there to create words, what was it originally for then? I think you're pointing to that. It was to tone, to make noise, for healing, for ourselves. We're coming together in community as we would in tribe and create something greater. So if it wasn't for language, that came way later. What were our ancestors doing with their voices if they weren't speaking to each other? With
Making sounds,
making
making
sound.
sound completely, right? And that resonance is making these sounds and resonating with the tribe, with the community, chanting. Yeah. And then with that, right? Like if we really feel into it, sound can, and this vibration has a movement. What we call dance, but it has this movement. And is not always external. A lot of times, like if we really sit with it and be with it, through some of this, there is some movement that happens internally. There's like micro movements. It's almost like popping in the fascia, or a little bit more space in between the bones, or like the heart opens up a little bit. And that's why sometimes we actually start either swaying or moving, or yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. It's you're in, and hopefully our
Very
audience is
cool.
getting that. You're inviting us to go deeper, to experience it, to experiment. Because I was just thinking, when there are times, if coming from some bodywork background, where doing some toning or humming, and sometimes you have to, like, oh, I'm going to it wants you to shake that shoulder out, and you mentioned fascia, and I was just thinking of that, almost like that unwinding. But if you send the toning to that area, it'll help sort of shake that loose, like you had on the previous slide with the somatic plate, with the sand, and to change the structure of what the cell in a matrix is doing, to bring it back into coherence, instead of this sort of disjointed figure. Bring it back into that snowflake geometric figure.
Exactly, exactly. And really, and that's what the healing is really knowing that it's happening as we bring in the intention into the fascia, as we allow that sound. And it doesn't have to be a precise sound, it has to be only the sound that wants to come up at the time. So, as you were talking about that, what I wanted to share is, and I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but there's a lot of research, but one of them is Sean Wu. They worked on frequency stimulation for heart cells. And they actually have pictures just kind of like the ones that I had at the beginning, but those are with heart cells, and they introduce a frequency, and you can see actually the heart cells kind of making these beautiful forms from a distorted form.
Wow.
And I think they are Stanford University. Yeah. But
That's beautiful.
that's fascinating to see to me. Yeah.
Fascinating. And stay tuned and stay with us, because viewers and listeners, you are going to be delighted by an experiential in a few moments. We want to bring this continued information of research and observations for our incredible guest, who is a master sound healer, somatic practitioner, Brennan graduate, Brennan Healing Science, and much, much more.
So this is part of the research and the observations that came out of it. But I also wanted to add is actually a lot that came out from the research and the clients that work with is this pre-developmental and pre-verbal trauma experiences that were not even in the forefronts when we were either doing the workshops or working at the beginning. And how sound, as one of kind of like the primal thing that comes through with the baby, or even with the baby is in utero, is one of the things, the vibration of it, that kind of brings some of these experiences to the surface without verbiage, but with a lot of senses are experienced. Like I'm feeling overwhelmed. I feel like my heart it's tight, or I feel like I do not belong. Like I feel like I'm coming from somewhere else and I do not belong here. And so the sounding is one of the ways to allow that to unfold. Through the research that was done, when the participants came in, we'll just have a circle, we'll check in where you are, kind of have a little bit of breath, and bringing that tracking and awareness to how is the breath, how are the muscles, a little bit as we will do in the experiential. And many came experiencing stress and anxiety, a lot of overthinking, performing for others, right? Emotional holding, disconnection from their body. They feel like they're here, but they're not completely here. And then feeling ungrounded, or in certain type of activation, like either fight or flight, like they feel like they're about to start running, or they feel like there is this freeze, like either part of their legs is frozen or numb, is non-existent, or can't find their place in their work, for example. They cannot find their voice to express themselves. And then through the experiential and kind of allowing and kind of moving through this little bit of, I'm not sure if I want to do this. How vulnerable am I going to be if I do this? Maybe like the sound is going to be like a little bit shrieky, or like it's not going to sound good. I'm not sure what's going to come out from me. To this moment of like quiet, of emotions, of vulnerability. And you could see like physically, like the shoulders come down, a little bit of a smile in the face, the eyes are light up a little bit. And at the end, as we check in, even the room looked like and felt like differently to them. It was either brighter, more colors, more present, a little closer. And to me, it was really heartwarming to kind of really be with them in this. And they really wanted to share what they were. A lot of greater ease in the body. I would say maybe 70% of the participants had either some type of chronic pain or autoimmune, or had a lot of accidents at some point. And they described that there was a lot of greater ease, less pain or no pain, this calm and grounding inner peace, which looks differently for different people. There were some emotional releases, and the beauty about these emotional releases is they were not these huge, overwhelming emotional releases. There was this really, like what we talk about in Brennan, is this soft pain, like really get in touch with that soft pain. And the majority of them, if not all, had this that they shared in their sharing is this connection, unity, and belonging to themselves, to something greater. They don't have to describe it, and they didn't have necessarily a religious background, but something greater and belonging, in addition to the belonging to the space. From after the research, many have reached talking about how their self-expression became very available at work, for example, in their positions as a couple, with their children and families, where, the generational trauma comes in, right? Can I be here and allow all that I'm feeling to be expressed in a gentle, moving way, without blame towards the other, and also with a lot of compassion that came in, that what may be happening in my mother, in my grandmother, and my father, in their experiences, right? It doesn't take away from my experience, but there was this gentleness that came in. Yeah.
Increased compassion and grounding. And I love that you've added the aftertoning of the parasympathetic nervous system, the increased alpha theta relaxation states. Yes, please. And the openness, when we're open, we do have more compassion. It sounds like you brought that greater sense of groundedness. And you answered a question I was going to ask you about, gosh, what does an event with you look like? So you're kind of taking us there. And I know now you're going to bring us there. And I can just imagine with all these nervous system shifts, if people were to continue to just use sound as a takeaway from their time with you, how it would open new neural pathways and support their nervous system and stress and the things that they're holding, as well as to heal them in all the myriad ways you've already discussed. It's got to be incredible to get that feedback. What has that meant to you?
Yeah. So, and I've been in contact and keep being in contact with my clients, as even when I don't see them, is like when they take this in, right? And know that they can use it in those moments, actually what happens is there is a greater capacity. So there is that neuroplasticity, that greater capacity that comes in. And more as like in Porges' work and like polyvagal theory, more of that coming back, even though if we drop in some into that fight and flight and sympathetic or some of that dorsal, we come back to that ventral vagal. There's more of an ease in coming back.
And we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to have you. Let's go to the full screen with Douniazed Wong. And you're in Colorado, near Colorado Springs.
I am in Colorado Springs.
Let's take a moment now and give you the floor to invite our viewers and listeners into the world of sound with this great master. Thank you, Z.
Thank you. So I'm just going to invite everybody to play with me, both of you, Joy and Dan, and whoever else is listening. And just let me know if you can't really hear me. Some of this sounds like over, like electronics, maybe a little bit muffled. Just let me know. But I know we've been talking, right? And as we're talking, we use our left brain more. So let's just take a moment here to just be, and wherever that is like for you. Maybe feeling your back against, the chair, feeling like how cold, warm, or what the temperature is, right on your skin, like maybe your arms or your feet. Yeah. What's the inner noise, if there is any, right? Like, what kind of rhythm does it have? And again, we're not going to change anything. We just want to bring awareness to it. All of it is welcome, just as it is. And as we do that, you're welcome to have your eyes open, to have your eyes closed, wherever you prefer. And gently, I'm going to invite you to maybe use your right hand and just get it closer to your heart. We're not going to do anything else with it right now. And we're just going to imagine or feel into what it would be like to touch a lover's face for the first time or a baby's face for the first time. I mean, I already just get shivers just feeling into that. And gently bring your hands and fingers kind of just touching maybe right at your chin. Like it's very light touch. Feel what that feels like. And you can like run along your hand through your face and maybe your chin. It's a very light touch. What happens in the rest of your body? Is this, familiar and not familiar? And maybe bring it by your eyebrows and above your eyebrows, right? So we're kind of engaging here some of the parasympathetic with touch and skin and the awareness, right? Yeah. And then we're going to invite the sound just S, a continuation of S. And as we invite that, we'll do it together 3 times. We'll make the S sound at the exhale as much as you want to, but not too much, and allow the pause and the breath to come naturally. And we'll do it 2 more times. And really, the invitation here is to be curious. Where do I feel that? Is it in the back of my throat? Is it in my heart? Actually, is it in my calves? So let's do it together. Let's just rest here. Notice what's the temperature like in your midsection, right? Right by your heart, to your stomach. How does your little toe feel? Yeah. And again, no right or wrong, just some curiosity. And we'll let that settle for a bit here.
This beautiful statement by our renowned guest. When sound is allowed its dance, rather than being controlled, the nervous system shifts from protection into presence. Dan and I think we're so honored that you're with us today. It's hard to want to even move from this place with you. My intention to integrate, I'm just floating. I'm like in the float tank that you were in, Dan. How about you?
Kidding. So good. Wow.
Yeah. And if you're out there, just really, really, there's a little bit of invitation to kind of just maybe turn your head and neck a little bit very gently and kind of look at what you can see to your side, just allowing this orientation back to this moment and integration. And again, to the other side, very gently taking the light and the colors around you, and then coming back. Yeah. And I'm very curious here what the experience is for each one of you, and it will be different.
Yeah, that was I'm more in my voice. I can hear it like that parasympathetic, right? Just kind of dropped in and I felt it in that the first we did with just the S, that sibilance there. I really felt it just more up here.
Mhm.
So it sort of woke up just around even through here. It's funny too, as we then moved into the next one, the tinnitus lessened in my ears. It's been very active lately, and yeah, it's even right. It's still less right now, which is it has me curious.
Yeah.
Interesting. But really, it was after that one that I really then felt embodied, and I felt weight to your, and I really felt it like it felt heavy. I've had a lot like
Mhm.
tension here, so I felt a lot of that just starting to ease. I could feel it sort of just sliding down through, and then that E tone really reverberated through the rib cage and then just all the way through
Mhm.
just the even through the elbows and just in the bones.
Yeah.
I really felt that, and it just dropped then everything down into the body. It was really interesting. Um, and you had mentioned the colors. It was really just a myriad of just different model colors, just sort of dancing together. There was no specific thing. It was just all of them just kind of doing the happy dance. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And it's interesting how it's there, but unless we bring our awareness to it, it's like, oh, color? Like we
Yeah.
don't really notice. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really interesting. Really interesting. And then that last one, I really wanted to be more in the expanded, that second portion of the nourishment, but then like,
Mhm. The opening.
yeah,
Yeah.
that felt like I was like Plastic Man, like stretching forever. It just was like this really wanted to open it, and be in that space and just come up that way. Yeah. I
Mhm.
was,
Did it feel good?
oh yeah. 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 Yeah, at first that heaviness after that second part, I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
man, such compression and such stuck." But then that openness really helped, like, "Oh, if I let go of that, then there's more openness, and then there might be more receptivity to receive as well, instead of
Yes.
always putting out and having to do, receive."
Yeah. Receive. Yeah. And as we do this work, it's interesting because what happens is we start being more aware of like the heaviness or the pain, but it's really bringing it up to the surface to be witnessed.
Mm,
Because then you realize you really want it to be in that receive, right?
yeah, really
Yeah.
interesting. I love this too because it's so simple, and it's right here. All I needed was my voice. It's so it reminds me, right? We've had Dr. Dan on a number of times, and it's just the small everyday things. It doesn't have to be the big grandiose.
Mm-mm.
I had to go on a retreat and do it. No, you just
Mm.
tone for 5 minutes. I can go out in my backyard at lunch and just lay and tone and just be my back against the earth and just
Mhm.
like How easy is that? That's that little 0.5% of activity. But on the daily,
Mhm.
rewire that, get those neural pathways in there, openness, receive.
Yeah.
One-stop shop here. Look what you're teaching us in 15 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
and this is going to, I can tell this is going to continue, and I'm going to have insights, and I'll be surprised what happens later when I close my eyes, where I'll be.
It will continue. So that's
So
what
this,
happens. Yeah. And 10 minutes, 5 minutes a day, that's all that's needed.
so good. It's right there.
It feels to me like the sound is just echoing out across the universe. And I was so aware, you were saying colors, Dan, the ribbons of light that we were creating with our voices, the
Mhm.
sound and color, and oh, there is color, creates these beautiful ribbons of interweaving light. And what was a lovely experience, and I felt this as a palpable transmission when you were sharing information actually in the slides. And that is, I felt the sound fully inside, like this reverence in a temple, and also everywhere simultaneously. And certainly after the second, but very much even in just the F sound, as you were saying, Dan. I mean, I would have been good with that. That was, and this is so much more. When you realize how much healing we possess here, what could it possibly heal? What couldn't it? The unlimited potential. Yeah, it feels like it's just going out to infinity. And oh, I want to thank you because I feel like you not only have researched so much, you have done research, so much research yourself as well, but you're also bringing in ancientness, an ancient teaching in modern times. And we can't even thank you enough for being here. And we'd like to share with our viewers what you've got right around the corner, if we could. And I'm really excited about this. This is tremendous generational trauma healing. And you also teach online. I know that as well, right?
Yeah, so this workshop is on Saturday, June 6th, and it's part of a
Absolutely.
series. It's a beautiful space when we really drop in through the sound, the movement, somatics, and
Mhm.
energy work into what's really here. And we work in diets, in triads, and really presenting somatically without necessarily the story, what is held inside and what is mine and what is somebody else's and what is, repeats itself, even though I don't want it to repeat. So the blind spots, the unconscious, but also the conscious. We'll be at the beautiful Colorado Salt Cave from 5 to 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So there's this gorgeous space with halotherapy, um, very welcoming.
Sounds wonderful. That's going to be at the Colorado Salt Cave, depending on where you're from, Wellness Center. And you're going to release, metabolize, and restore as she just led us in so doing. And you've got some things upcoming in the autumn as well. Did you want to share anything about that?
Yeah, so I will have the same workshop online on October 16th, I believe. Yeah. And then I will be having the Healing Voice online, the part of what we just did. And that will be on Friday, October 9th. We'll have an hour and a half, really dropping in into some of these guided exercises and then bringing that permission to let whatever needs to unfold and that resonance into the body and the voice.
We're going to have all your links available for when the show is dropped because it's so important. This is a beautiful site, very educational. And you also offer private sessions, outdoor sessions, me garden sessions. That's intriguing.
Yeah, yeah. So I offer one-on-one private sessions, actually in person and remote. Actually, about 70% of my clients are remote. And outside sessions, kind of weave in the different modalities through them to wherever is present. And Me Garden has actually was birthed through my own experience. And it's a series of multiple sessions where we delve with the voice as one of them, the touch as another somatic practice, the neuroaffective touch and present touch, with some creation and creativity and utilizing the life force and using our hands and other things that we do together.
Friends, if you have been interested, I have so many people that come up. Perhaps you do too, Dan, because you work with people with voice every day. Who can I go to? Where do I learn this? We highly recommend that you reach out, look at her website, douniazed.com. And we're going to put up all the links for you because you don't want to miss what she's offering here. And it's so educational. She's a go-to for us. We refer. And what's wonderful is it doesn't matter where you live in the world. We are a global community, as we just felt for your beautiful sound healing work. And we want to encourage people to reach out, check out her site. And we are so appreciative for you being with us today. And Dan, you always do the best wrap up of Energy Diagnostics Podcast. He's got a gift. See, what can I say?
I'm
He's out there. Okay.
but no, but really, I keep going back to we have this, like, again, before language, we had this, we were doing something with it before we were forming these words, and we were making probably real magic sounds.
Magic is the word.
Like we're saying these nonsense words, but we were creating magic. Boy, I don't know. So curious. I want a time machine. I want to go see what was happening.
Well, it's been a pleasure being with both of you. Really, I am grateful that you welcomed me and that you played along with me. And again, an invitation of really play. There is no perfect sound, and is really this like playfulness and vulnerability and being with. And even after, as Dan mentioned, like really allow yourself to still feel what it feels like and what you noticed. Yeah.
Such a great teacher you are. And, our teacher, Barbara Brennan from Barbara Brennan School of Healing, has a famous quote that says, coming home, all healing is coming home to the self. I feel as if you really brought Dan and I into this world and back within ourselves fully and completely, but a part of all things. And I can't thank you enough for honoring us on Energy Diagnostics Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Joy and I really appreciate it. Hey, if you're liking our content here, please make sure you like, follow, subscribe on your favorite platform to make sure you, stay up to date with all the latest and greatest we put out here at Energy Diagnostics Podcast.
That's right, Dan. And if you're liking our content, folks, please feel free to share so others may enjoy the benefit of the wisdom our guests are offering.
Thanks so much, and be kind to each other out there.